Hello and welcome to your masterclass. For women in corporate America, most businesses don't fail because of the idea, they fail because of the business model. If you are a high achieving woman in corporate America, you've probably thought about starting a side business. Not because you're desperate, but because you are strategic. You want more freedom, you want more income, and you want more creative control over your life. And most importantly, you're smart enough to know that your 9 to 5 can help fund your vision and not compete with it. But here's the catch: most side businesses fail not because the idea is bad, but because the business model doesn't fit the entrepreneur's lifestyle or goals. That is where this masterclass comes in. This is your blueprint to choosing the right business model from the start, the kind that aligns with your strengths, your schedule, and your income goals. What can you expect from this masterclass? This masterclass is going to be broken into 4 parts, each one designed to help you confidently choose and build a business that works for you, not the other way around. Whether you want to sell digital product, offer consulting services, or create online content, this masterclass will walk you through the pros and the cons, the real strategy to turn your skills into income. Here's how this series is going to break down. Module 1 will offer you a welcome and an overview to the 3 business models. Modules 2, 3, and 4 will be deep dives into each business models: the product-based business model, the service-based business model, and the media-based business model. These comprehensive breakdowns will help you choose the right model that works best for you. So let's get started. Welcome to Lessons Lived. My name is Nandi. If you are new here, I'm so glad you found this space. Ours is a community of ambitious women who take action. We don't just learn, we live our lessons. We leverage our full time jobs to build scalable side businesses because we know that wealth isn't an escape plan, it's a power move. Your 9 to 5 is a launch pad, not a limitation. If you're ready to turn your career into capital, your expertise into income, and your business into a legacy, you are in the right place. Welcome to Module 1. This module is an overview of the 3 business models. In this opening session, we're setting the stage. We'll break down the 3 core business models: the product based business, the service based business, and the media based business. You'll get a side by side comparison of each one, including how they generate income, how they scale, and what kind of investment they require. We'll also cover how to diversify your income inside any of these models and how to avoid common pitfalls that keep side businesses small. By the end of the module, you will have the clarity you need to choose the best fit model for your lifestyle and your long term goals. Welcome to your coaching session. I'm your coach, and here is what you need to do. As a woman in corporate America, you need a side business, a real business, just a business you do on the side, outside of your 9 to 5. It's easy to talk yourself out of it with endless excuses. I don't have time. My job pays well. I'll do it later. But deep down inside, you know that I am right. You're an ambitious, successful woman climbing the corporate ladder. And even you know that that ladder is leaning on shifty sand. It's not stable and it's not sustainable. You want more control, more income, and most importantly, more freedom. Now, the question is, so how exactly, Mandy, do I build a business? Specifically, how do I build a business without sabotaging my career? A career that I've spent years working so hard for. Don't worry. This is your strategic guide to launch a side business the right way. I'm going to be spending the next few series of videos sharing with you exactly how you can leverage your career as a foundation and not as an obstacle. I'm going to show you how to choose a business model that aligns with your skill set, your schedule, and your long term financial goals. There's no gimmicks here, there's no burnout. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but we are going to learn how to do it without burning you out. This is going to be a clear, structured plan of action. Today is just the beginning of a whole lot of videos that will strategically teach you how to build a structured plan. In today's video, however, this is what you are going to learn. I'm going to be sharing with you the three business models that work very well for women in corporate America. I'm also going to be sharing how to choose one that aligns with your skills and your time. We'll move on then to talk about how to build multiple streams of rivers of income from the start. We're not waiting until we get there to start taking clear action. From the beginning, we are setting the foundation that would allow us to be able to build multiple different streams of income. By the end of this series, you will have a clear, confident plan to build your side business without risking your career or your financial security. We'll start our conversation by quickly talking about the differences between a product, a service, and a media business. Starting a side business while maintaining a full time job is a strategic way to build financial security, expand your skill set, and most importantly, set the foundation for long term entrepreneurship. But not all business models are created equal. Before diving in, it's essential that you choose the model that aligns with your expertise, your available time, and your income goals. Today, we are going to explore three primary business models and how to diversify income with each one. We are also going to be discussing strategies for long term scalability and how to optimize your chosen model for maximum efficiency and profitability. The three business models we are going to be discussing today is a product-based business, a service-based business, and a media-based business, right? Most businesses will roughly fall under these three categories. Let's start by discussing what a product-based business is. A product-based business involves creating or selling a physical or a digital goods product. Examples will include for a physical product, handmade goods. If you're really good baker, that would be considered a product-based business. If you're creative and wanted to make clothing, that would be considered a product-based business. If, like me, you're a cosmetic scientist and you wanted to create your own beauty product, that is also considered a product-based business, right? Subscription boxes, print-on-demand merchandising, all of these will be considered physical products. On the other hand, you have digital products. Think ebook, templates, courses, printables, software, stock photos, audio content. All of this will go under the digital product category. Here is the pros of this particular business type. It's a very scalable, especially with digital products that require very little maintenance after you create them, right? For digital, if you're going to create a product-based business, a digital product is definitely my personal favorite, because if you create it once, you put it out there, and it can keep selling. The good thing is you don't have to stock up on inventory, right? So it's just out there. And the thing about digital products and quite a lot of the product based business is that they can be very good at generating passive income if they are automated correctly with marketing funnels and evergreen sales models. You can also create brand loyalty with really high quality product offerings and a very strong customer base as well. The con, however, Most of the con here are very much around physical products in particular requires a whole lot of inventory management. You need to have a production process, shipping, right? This whole managing that whole process, especially if you're doing it at large scale, this can be very time consuming and very, very expensive, right? So when we're talking about a product-based business, a digital product, you can easily go in, but here's the other thing that I want you to think about, right? The easier it is for you to start a business, the harder your competition is going to be, right? So with digital products, you can go in there and start creating these products, putting them out there, and even start making some money, but your competition is fiercer. With physical products, the challenge is just the expense, how expensive it is, and how much inventory management, supply chain, and expertise is needed to really be successful at creating a physical based product. Digital products cons requires a lot of upfront content creation, right? So you really have to take the time to put it to create the products upfront. But in my opinion, it's very doable. The biggest con with digital products is marketing those products because the barrier to entry is so low, your competition is high. And when your competition is high, you need to find a way to differentiate yourself from all of that competition. If you don't have like an audience already, let's say you have a strong Instagram presence, TikTok, YouTube, it's very difficult to find your to sell your digital products. So digital products can take time to establish a steady stream of revenue, particularly, like I said, if you lack that audience. Now let's talk about scalability strategies. It's very important to automate the order fulfillment process by partnering. If it's, for example, digital products, there are many different websites, softwares out there that would offer you some sort of print on demand. KDP is one that does it for you. For example, I'm going to put a link up here to all of my planners. I'm a planner girl. I love pen to paper. And for me, I just started creating products for myself because I love the design, right? I wake up one day and I wanted a planner that had a very specific design. I would create it and then I would send it to KDP, right? So I create the design, I send it to Amazon KDP, and what they do is manage the purchasing, the shipping, all of that. I don't ever have to think about it. But with that particular business, however, the competition is so fierce. Without an audience, I don't make a whole lot of money, but it's okay. I started sharing my planners online because I wanted very specific things. So a lot of companies, especially in the cosmetic industry, in the food industry, what we call consumer packaging good, organization will use influencers for a lot of their marketing and a lot of paid ads in order to boost brand visibility. And you can already see how that gets very expensive, right? You have to make sure you have very strong marketing budget. And a lot of people who are just starting out, this can be challenging. A third way to scale up, some things you need to start thinking about: how do you develop an email list that would nurture leads and increase conversion over time? Right? So, with a product based business, the ability to make money is there, and it's actually one of the most profitable in terms of like if you can build a strong presence, you can really make a lot of money. But it has a lot of complexity and a higher barrier to entry, especially for physical products. The second business group that I will be talking about are service based business. These businesses are centered around providing your expertise or labor to your audience, right? So some example would include freelancing, right? You can offer writing, graphic design, marketing, web development services, consulting or coaching. You can be a career coach. I mean, pick the industry and you can be a coach or a consultant in that industry. You can do business consulting, financial advising, fitness therapy, massage therapy, right? All of these can be lumped into this particular industry, right? Virtual assistant services, copywriting, bookkeeping. I mean, the opportunities are endless. This is where, if you examine your particular skills and expertise, where can you learn that skill and that expertise? For those of us who are in corporate America, most likely we end up moving into a consulting space. So for example, you have been in your of in your field for 15, 20 years. You know a lot of things that a new upstarting company could use in terms of knowledge, direction, or even if they are an established company, let's say their leader and their teams are full of younger, more junior professionals, you can come in there and lend your voice and get paid for your knowledge and your expertise. So most of us moving into the consulting space tends to make sense. But we can also move into a space where we're actually offering services, right? Instead of consulting, where we're primarily offering advice, we can become service consultants. Or so for example, if you were in project management for a very long time working for one brand, let's say you move out of project management and now you have your own agency, and in that agency you're now offering actual project management services, but for many different clients. Here are the pros of a service-based business. The startup cost is very low. Unlike a product based business where you really need to have a lot of money to actually create the product, if it's a physical product, you need to have the funds to be able to store it, have an inventory or a warehouse. You have none of that here. So your startup cost is low, right? So you need skills, of course, but the skills for us in corporate America can come from our career. You do not need inventory, so this makes it very accessible with minimal financial investment up front. And the other pro of a service based business is that you can have immediate cash flow because clients will typically pay you up front or on a retainer for continued service. So you could structure your services in such a way that you say 50% of the services come up front, and then every month you will pay a certain amount until the project is completed. So you get that upfront money coming to you. And also, another big pro of a service based business is high profit margins. Because you don't have a physical product, you can work from home. I have my office here. If I ever started a service based business, I can conduct all of my services from the comfort of my home, right? Let's say if I needed to travel to a customer, I would be doing so just every now and then, right? I don't have to worry about having a storage space. So this allows for more profit, but most importantly, more predictable earnings too, right? So you're keeping more of your money in your pocket, and by creating that pay up front and then monthly retainer system, you can have that predictable earnings coming to you on a monthly, quarterly, and yearly basis. The cons for a service based business is that depending on your business, you are trading your time for money, just like you were doing for a when you were working a full-time job, right? Because you were technically offering your service to your organization. Service-based business can be a little bit harder to scale up, but it's not impossible, right? And they do require constant lead generation. So the client acquisition effort in order for you to maintain revenue. So you have to become very good at lead generation, right? This to me is just part of doing business, right? Even if you're in a product based business, for example, you will need to be constantly in front of potential customers. For a service based business, it's the same thing. Another potential con, and it's up to you whether you think this is a con or not, but it can be very demanding in terms of client communication, scheduling, deadlines. The reality of working with clients is that, yeah, they are demanding. They ask a lot, right? Because they are paying you for these services, and their expectations tend to be a little bit higher. But this is why I advocate for us women in corporate America who are seasoned to move into these types of businesses, because we're not moving in blind or cold. We already have experience dealing with various types of clients and customers, so we would know most likely how to manage expectations. Now let's talk about scalability strategies. When you have a service-based business, right? Yes, you are selling your services where you're most likely trading your time for money. But you have to think about what are other ways that you could scale it up, right? How do you find a way to create more sources of revenue? A lot of people who are in a service-based business, like coaches, consultants, etc., they would either sell products that they've created themselves, right? Or they will sell affiliate type products to generate more income. But most of the time, especially for coaches, they create digital products, courses, templates, guides that complement the services that they offer in order for them to bring a little bit more money in. And when it comes to service based business, right, unless you're talking about offering services to businesses, which if you are in corporate America, I would most likely want you to go into the consulting space where now you're offering your services to other businesses. But if you are more of a direct to consumer service based business, like a coach, for example, you need to find a way to move away from one on one coaching and do more group coaching. In my opinion, I prefer group coaching because not only are group coaching services more cost effective, but they give me access to a community. Now I'm connecting with other people who have the same passion, who have the same goals, and we can potentially be helping each other on that journey. So it's better for you as a coach, but it's also better for your members as well, right? So along with group coaching services, you can offer memberships. Memberships will really help to increase your revenue, reducing your time commitment and giving you that predictable income coming in. I love memberships because I like when I go into a group coaching program, right? And they have a whole lot of courses that I can learn from. Yes, YouTube has a lot that you can learn from, but YouTube is disorganized. In an academy or some sort of membership program, if it's designed well, there will be a clear start here, go to here, go to here, 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 and then end here, right? I personally love that type of model. There's also a group a group environment where on a weekly, bi-weekly, twice a week, I'm currently in a group coaching program for one of my businesses, and we meet twice a week for any questions, right? The coach is very generous to us in that twice a week we can go ask him questions and he would answer anyone's questions within a 1 hour time frame. That to me is how you really optimize and scale up your service based business. One more way that you can scale up your business, this one is my personal favorite, and this is also something that I currently do in my business, that is to outsource the work. You hire contractors to expand your capacity and serve more clients. On this channel, I preach scalability. I don't want you guys, my power mavens, to go from working a full time job as an employee in someone else's company to working a full time job as an employee in your own company. I want you, as you are building this business, to start actively thinking about how you can leverage other people's time in the same way you are leveraging your 9 to 5 jobs income, right? The concept of leverage is really powerful here. So start figuring out ways to build a business that is scalable, not just by expanding your services, but also by buying back your time through outsourcing and hiring contractors. The third business that we are going to be talking about today is the media based business. This is an interesting one because this one has been completely turned on its head, my dears. A media based business involves the creation or the monetization of content, right? So think about blogging, affiliate marketing, YouTube. So with blogging and affiliate marketing, you are earning through ads. sponsorships or commission. YouTube and podcasting. You're earning through ad revenues, sponsorship, membership, crowdfunding sources like Patreon. And then there's social media influencing, where you have brand partnerships, where you can sell digital products, where you can sell premium content subscriptions, right? All of this falls under the media based business category. I'm going to tell you, this is one of those business that, 50 years ago was very exclusive. It was dedicated to a very small group of people, but today, because of the internet, it has been significantly democratized. Almost anybody today could start a media based business. Could they actually succeed and make money off of it? But they could start. Here are the pros of this particular type of business. It can be highly passive once an audience is built. But this is one of those things where even I have to tell you that it's easier said than it is done, okay? Monetization streams can really be optimized, right? You can find a way to create websites that really optimizes the different income streams and monetization pathways. So your ability to make multiple streams of income once you've built an audience is really unique to none, in my opinion. The other pro of this particular business model is it requires very, very little upfront cost to get started. I mean, you can record with your phone. You don't need a fancy camera at all. Today's phones are top notch. You do not need a fancy camera. The microphone, so long as you're not outside doing really complicated stuff, the microphone on your phone is just fine. Web hosting, you don't even need that. If you're uploading on YouTube and all of these other platform services, it's free to get started. By far, when it comes to lowest barrier to entry, media based business. And what I also find very interesting about this particular business model is that you also do not need skills, right? All you have to do is know how to press a button on your phone that says start recording. Right? Some people don't even edit their videos. They press record, they look at a camera, they start talking or start recording whatever it is they're doing. Think of vloggers, right? They can just record, I did this today, I did this today, and I did that. Upload it. If it's entertaining enough, somebody's going to watch it and somebody will keep coming. Okay? Super easy to get started. Literally, a monkey with a dress on can start it. Here are the cons of this particular business. It takes time to build a loyal audience. You could literally be working for free for years before seeing $1 in your financial return. The revenue is inconsistent, very inconsistent, right? One day, let's say it's December, because somehow in December, people are more online and they're watching more TV, they're watching more YouTube. You could make $3,000. In January, you could make $500. It really fluctuates, right? And the other biggest con is that your success and your revenue really depends on the platform algorithm and market trends. Um, the algorithm for me, I'm like, that's the number one reason why this particular business model is very finicky. And another thing that is also a huge con is that depending on where you are hosting your content, you don't have control over that platform. They could completely cancel you at any time for any reason at all. Okay, so you could have 300,000 subscribers and something happens before you know it, they're shutting down your account and There goes your 300,000 subscribers. Okay. Another con here is that it requires consistent content creation and audience engagement maintenance, and in order for you to maintain that momentum. It's one of those things where, it's like you get to a point where you have to constantly be entertaining that audience. And this is why when it says that the income can be passive, I'm like, I don't know how passive it can actually be, because in order, if you rely on this type of model for your income, my God, you absolutely have to make sure that you're constantly keeping your audience engaged. And this is why when you're doing a media based business, do what you love, because you have to be the one showing up in front of an audience every single day, every week, every month consistently. And if you're not consistent, that audience is not going to come back. And here is something else that's also very, very important. You can lose your audience if you decide to just shift from this into that thing. So for me, from the very beginning, I chose to be myself and to bring content that I enjoy, and pray that I build an audience in a decent, timely manner. Because the truth is, if you do what you love, it might take you longer to build an audience than the person who's doing what is trendy, right? Let's say that right now the trend of the day is, I don't know, drinking from a whatever type of cup, right? Now I'm doing content on drinking from this X, Y, and Z Stanley cup or whatever, right? So when you take that approach, you might go quickly, but you may not be able to retain that audience. But audience retention is the most important part of your success in this business. Let's talk about scalable strategy for this particular business model. The most important thing you need to do to scale in this particular business, you need to batch content production in order for you to stay consistent. Let me tell you something. You will lose momentum. You will lose fire. You will lack motivation. Okay. And there's nothing that's harder than not having motivation, not having energy, but having to stand up in front of an audience to be able to speak to them with energy and excitement. It's very hard. The second pro here is that you need to find a way to monetize through diversified streams of income. The great thing about this particular business model is that if you can find your engaging audience, people who connect with you and connect with you here and here, it's a game changer. It absolutely it is a game changer, right? Because now you can create content specifically for that audience. You see, most of us don't like, now, I'm not speaking to some of these people who just want to make money. That's not who I'm speaking to. But most of us don't want to come here and tell you, buy this, buy this, buy that. But there are certain things that in our own lives has been successful, and we love sharing that with our specific audience. So the best thing for you to do is to become to be an expert in a particular field, to be trying different things that works for you, and to share it with your audience. It will not work for most of your audience, but for that 10 to 15%, they will thank you for making the right recommendations, for bringing the right companies to them, right? And you can even monetize with paid content. Let's say, for example, for some financial gurus, they do not, unlike me, who shares all of my numbers, so you guys can learn through my experience. They take that content and they put it behind a paywall. So now it's a smaller community of trusted people who gets to see that more intimate content. Another way to monetize is to mix and match between models, right? You can sell merchandise. Um, right. So let's say you create some cute T-shirts with the saying or whatever your community find interesting. Sometimes we do have community members who will send us suggestion of like, hey, based on your name, I created this interesting design for you, and then you take that, you do some print on demand for some T-shirts, etc. Right? A third way to potentially scale is to not just be on one platform. My God. If you listen to nothing else that I say, you need to find a way to diversify across different platforms. Now, to be really fair, you start small, start with one platform, build that audience, and then move on to another one, build that, and then keep moving on. Right? You want many different platforms that you can build your content around. So, for example, I have a YouTube channel, but I'm also working on a website where I'm going to have blogs and I'm going to write articles, right? And for some people, they're also on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitch, all these different things. So find a way to diversify your content, and by all means, make sure you are building an email list. An email list when you are a media based business is really important, because all of these different platforms can just deplatform you anytime they want. Now, it's really important that you make sure that in any of these different businesses that you have multiple streams of income. I actually call them multiple rivers of income, because a river of income is a lot of different streams, right? Out of one river of income can flow many different streams, right? And by one river of income, something like YouTube, for example, is a river of income, because if you can strengthen your YouTube audience, it will grow you multiple different streams. So you should always be striving for rivers where I do one thing, but that one thing gives me many different pathways for monetization. So I want you to really be thinking about diversifying your income in order to ensure long-term financial stability. Right? And here is how to build those multiple streams of income within your business model. One of the best way to ensure that you're building multiple streams of income is by using more than one business model at the time, right? So for example, if you're a product-based business, can you also offer some sort of media-based component to it, right? So for example, me, I do have digital planners and products, but I also have a media based business. With my media based business, right, I am building my YouTube channel. I'm also building my Instagram presence. And I will soon be also strengthening my Facebook presence. So now I'm diversifying the platforms that I'm in, along with my own website as well, where I'm writing blogs, writing articles, and stuff like that, right? So I'm diversifying my content. Now, inside of my media based business, I do have digital products. I have planners, I have books that I sell, I have courses that I sell, right? So I'm using one media based business and I'm adding a product based business to it. And along with that, I also offer coaching. A lot of people see my content, they like what they're hearing, and they ask me if I can help support them in whatever facet that they want me to support them. Some people want it to be a 1 hour session, but as I grow my audience, there may be a need for me to do some group coaching program where I have 5 or 6 ladies that each want to achieve a very specific thing, and I bring them together into weekly, monthly session, etc. And then we're growing together. Right? So you're seeing how each one of these business models does not have to stand up on its own. You can ebb and flow between them. But it's very important, however, that you build one at a time. Now, how do you know which one of these business models is for you? To determine which model suits you best, I really want you to consider your skill set. Do you have any type of expertise that people will pay for? That's a service based business. Are you good at content creation? Do you feel like you have the charisma to be able to sit in front of a camera and talk to it and not feel silly, and also exude charisma and draw your audience's attention? That's a media based business. I also want you to realize, though, you can develop these over time, right? Now, are you the type of person who maybe have a lot of money just sitting there, and you're looking for a way for that money to multiply without even you always being there and involved in every step of the way? A product based business may be for you, right? Because a product based business, especially a physical product based business, requires a lot of capital upfront. And if you have capital to invest into a product based business, that is really when you can really start to make big bucks. So we're talking 10, 15, 100, $200 million, right? If you can build a really good product based business. A product based business will still require a lot of time on your part, but you will have most likely a whole team behind you helping you build that. So really take the time to think about this, right? Do you have excess cash that you can plug into a product based business, especially a physical product based business? Or when it comes to product based business, are you very creative? Right? Because with the physical product business, you could create clothes. Let's say you're a designer and you wanted to create clothes for people. You're crafty. That's a physical based business. The only challenge with these types of product that requires you and your expertise to do it, they're not very scalable. Okay, so the next thing I want you to think about is your availability of time, right? What is your availability? Can you commit to ongoing client work? That's a service based business. Do you prefer that scalable model where, right, you do something one time and then it keeps birthing you money? Understanding all of the challenges that comes with that. That could be a digital product or a media based business. Okay. The other thing I want you to think about is your risk tolerance. Some models take longer to generate income, but they have higher scalability. Right. So, for example, a service based business, you could really start making money very quickly, right? So long as you can find the right audience that wants your services. A product and a media based business take time to build, right? But they are more scalable, right? So it's just really up to you to really begin to ask yourself which one of these resonates with you and start taking action towards it, right? So here is a quick checklist to choose your business model. I prefer a hands on, client focused approach. That's a service based business model. I want to create something once and sell it repeatedly. That is a product based business model. I enjoy creating content and engaging with an audience. That is a media based business model. I want multiple income streams across different areas. That is what we are here, and that is a hybrid of all of the above. Whichever path you choose, the key is to build a business that is sustainable, aligns with your strength, and offers you multiple streams of financial security. And by leveraging your corporate career as the foundation, you can easily transition strategically into a thriving independent business. If this video helped you see the power of building a side business, please share it with another ambitious woman who needs this insight. And if you are ready to leverage your career to build sustainable, scalable businesses, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I share proven strategies every week to help you do it without burning out or any financial risk. And for even more guidance, please do join the community where other corporate women like you are turning their careers into launching pad for real business. You don't have to do this alone. Welcome to Module 2, the Product Based Business Deep Dive. In this session, we're deep diving into the product based business, both physical and digital, from ebooks and templates to merch and subscription boxes. We'll explore how to build a business that creates assets you can sell again and again. We'll cover startup costs, marketing, and automation. I'll share how you can turn one product into multiple income streams through licensing, bundles, and memberships. If you want to create something once and let it work for you, this is the model for you. So the sessions continue. We started the conversation by kind of giving you an overview of three of the most popular business models that you can actually build as a woman in corporate America. Today, we are deep diving into one of these business models. This one is an interesting one for me. I feel like I have all sorts of emotions and feelings for this particular business model because it is my primary career business model, and that is the product based business model. As a woman in corporate America, you are a powerhouse. Your skills, expertise, and ambition should be making you money, not just your employer. This is why you picking the right business model is going to be a game changer in your side business journey. So today, I am going to be deep diving into the product based business model. I'll be giving you a blueprint to build a profitable and scalable business by leveraging what you already know. And by the end of this video, you will have clarity on what you need to launch and grow a product based business with confidence. What I will be doing in today's video is breaking a few things down. We're going to be talking about what a product based business is and why it works. We're also going to be taking a step by step blueprint launch approach that will take you from ideation into a profitable business without wasting too much money or your time. And then we're going to deep dive into how do you actually scale this business without overworking. By the end of this video, you will have clarity on, first of all, what type of business this is and whether or not this business will fit you. You will understand the real path to financial freedom beyond just your corporate job. So you will be walking away with actionable strategies to be able to build and scale up a profitable business with confidence. If you are serious about financial freedom, you cannot afford to waste another minute guessing. So hit the like button and subscribe so that the algorithm gods can bless us by helping us find more people who needs to hear this message. This is a small task for you, but for me, it really means everything. So we'll just jump right into the conversation at hand and talk about what a product-based business is. I'm sure if you've ever looked at your Hermes bag, that is a product-based business. A product-based business involves selling physical or digital products to customers. These products can be manufactured, they can be handmade, or they can be sourced from a supplier. A common example includes clothing brands, beauty products, home decor. For digital products, think about digital planners, subscription boxes. Unlike a service-based business, my favorite I will be sharing next, product-based business rely on inventory, production, and logistics in order to fulfill customer orders. I know those were a lot of really big words, right? Before we dig deeper into how you can build one, let's talk about what are the benefits of a product-based business. People tend to choose a corporate based business because these types of business will offer you one, scalability. Once a product is developed, it can be sold repeatedly without any additional work for each unit. Depending on the type of product business you are building, it has the potential of offering you passive income. With an e-commerce setup, sales can occur 24/7. And if you're one of those people who's building a digital product, let's say you have a downloadable digital planner or a online course, you're printing money whether or not you're there. Right? So that's the beauty of these types of business. Brand recognition is another benefit of this business. A strong product brand can gain loyalty with customers and drive revenue without you even trying. It takes time to get there, but it's great to see your brand pretty much speak for itself. Another benefit is the opportunity for automation. Many tasks, such as order fulfillment, marketing, customer service, can be automated and outsourced to someone else so that you are not actively sitting there and making sure those things are happening. Of course, this requires capital, but the option to be able to outsource the work is very unique and exciting for this particular product because, like we will talk about for the service-based business, that is often not always possible. Now let's talk about some winning strategies for a product-based business. In order for you to build a successful product business, you need to follow certain key strategies. The first one, I feel like this one could apply for almost any business, is that you need to really start with a clear and specific audience. AKA, you need to have a strong niche. You need to focus on a specific audience so that you can solve their problem specifically. All right. This is important because you need to be able to know who you're speaking to so you can speak to them, right? You can be creating a product for men, for babies, for grandpas, for grandma, right? You need to find an audience and speak to them specifically. The second thing we are going to be doing is validating your idea before investing into it. As somebody who has started and failed so many businesses, let me tell you something. Validation is really important. I have a video coming up on how to validate a business, so be on the lookout for that. So there are many different things you can do to validate your business. You can use pre-orders, you can do small test batches, you can do some crowdfunding in order for you to be able to gauge demand. It's really important that you take a step back and not be too emotionally attached to your business, because we are women who want to build a business. Often, it's not necessarily about the specific idea. What we are interested in is the allure of financial freedom, independence, and security. So sometimes one business may not work. If you vet your idea and it doesn't work, you leave it and you move on to something else, okay? Another winning strategy is to choose the right sales channel. You need to decide whether to sell through your own website, a marketplace like Amazon, social media, or you want to sell locally. It's really important to be very clear on what this channel is going to be. And sometimes you have to try multiple channels to really see where you're getting traction. Leveraging digital marketing. You need to use content marketing, influencers, partnership, and paid ads to grow your brand. This is something that even Nandy is just now really understanding and learning. Companies don't make money without marketing. You need to get your word out there. People need to know who you are. There's no way around it. So take the time to connect with people, to start creating content, building partnership, and yes, paid ads. Scaling through wholesales or retail partnerships. So you have to be able to expand your reach by getting your product into stores and different distribution channels, right? This is a tough one, but a skill you have to learn if you are going to embark in a product based business. You need to understand how to get your product into Sephora, into Sprouts, into CVS, into Walmart. I mean, all of that, not my expertise, but my God, you could build a whole channel just on how to get products into retail distribution channels. It's a mammoth, right? The challenges, the opportunity to make money, but to actually get in there, ooh, it's tough, right? And this is why when I talk about product based business, I make a distinction between a physical product and digital products, right? Digital products, lower cost of entry, higher competition. Physical product, higher cost of entry, but lower competition. So if you can do all of those things right, if you have the money to see it through, the expertise, and you get in there, you can make a pretty penny. You need to optimize your operation. Use automation tools and outsourcing to streamline fulfillment, inventory management, and customer support and service. This is going to be very important for your success, right? You need to be able to understand the magnitude of the business you are getting yourself into, right? Ideally, you will start small and then build from there, but I promise you, your ability to outsource, automate, delegate as quickly as possible is going to make the difference between whether or not you live to see the next year or your business is going to completely fall on its heels in the next few months. Now let's dig deeper and talk in detail about each one of these winning strategies. Step one, you need to identify your product niche, right? Every great business starts with a great idea. The best way to find a profitable product niche is by solving a problem. You need to identify the pain points in your industry or personal life that you can solve. So a lot of people create products around, hey, I used to have this gut health issue. I looked everywhere and I couldn't find a solution. So I started going into my kitchen and I mixed this herb, this thing, and that thing. Now I have this product. In the cosmetic industry, that's also a good thing, right? I used to have X, Y, and Z skin problem. I looked online, couldn't find anything. So they identified a gap in the market and then they started working on it slowly, came up with their own formula, or they worked with the formulation scientists who helped them come up with the formula, a solution for them. Boom. Now they've identified the market, they've solved the problem, and they're selling that problem to other people who have the same need. You need to leverage your skill set. I know you guys, I talk about this all the time, but it's true. You need to use your expertise to create something unique and valuable, right? Research trends, explore emerging trends on various platforms like Etsy, Amazon, Pinterest. Start looking at what's interesting out there that you can capitalize on. Then you want to test the demand. Use Google Trends, surveys. Google has a great survey system. Like you can use Google Forms to create a surveying system, send it to customers or potential customers, right? So use social media to gauge interest. So you use Google Form, create a survey, test it out on your social media platform, see how people respond, right? And based on their response, validate your ideas, right? That's the second thing you are going to do here. You want to validate your idea before investing too much into it. The last thing you want to do is to put time into something to produce it, and there's really no interest or need for it. So before you pour time, money into production, test your idea. I'm a big believer in pre-selling a product before you even have it. Offer pre-orders to see if people are willing to buy it. This will really help you understand whether or not people will buy what you're selling. Just put it out there. If you already have an audience, tell them, hey, I have X, Y, and Z product coming up. Pre-orders, you get 40% off. See who will buy it. And this is really an important concept, right? You want to create a minimal viable product. This is when you start with a small batch and test it with real customers so you can collect feedback. By collecting feedback, you get real meaningful feedback that would help you determine where to go next. Use social media, send out some polls, beta test to refine the product once you've collected that feedback. The third step you are going to take is choosing the right business model. There are different ways to structure a product based business. What I'm sharing when I'm talking about a product and media and a service based business, I'm talking about broad, huge categories of businesses you can build to start giving you direction and narrowing your focus. But once you've determined your broader category and you're like, yes, Nandy, a product based business sounds like something this girly wants to do, now you really want to start honing it. Do you want to do e-commerce where you use Shopify, Etsy, Amazon, or your own website to sell your products directly online? Do you want to do drop shipping? So drop shipping, this is where you work with a supplier. You're not holding inventory. You're selecting certain products that supplier is making, and you're pretty much creating a front-facing online window store. The customer orders through you, but it's automatically sent to the supplier who ships it directly from their facility to your customer. This sounds really exciting. It sounds like the holy grail of business. But let me tell you something, it's easier said than done. Drop shipping was highly popularized around the year 2010, 2011, almost right to around 2015. But the challenge here is the barrier to entry was so stinking low that all of eBay, Amazon was flooded with this drop shipping nonsense, cheap quality businesses that some 15-year-old kid from their bedrooms, right, was going over to China and doing the drop shipping model. You can see I don't have a lot of love lost for drop shipping, but anyhow, like, but some people make it work, and this person could be you. Maybe you can find a novel way or an interesting product where this can work. So don't let my bias, right, rule you out of this particular model, because it does work for some people. Another model you can choose is print on demand. This is where you create customized printed product, and it's created as the orders come in. So think of Amazon KDP. People who make t-shirts, they will create the design, create a mock-up, build a whole website around it. And as each person buys, it goes to a printing on demand company, literally print on demand. When the customer demands it, it goes into that company. They create the product and ship it directly to the customer. It's very similar to drop shipping, but only this time the design is not some generic mass produced factory product. It's a design you have created. They're just doing the printing for you. Wholesaling. This is when you sell in bulk to retailers. Most people who do a product based business are utilizing the wholesaling model, right? You work with the manufacturer, you create 5, 10,000 units, and then you sell that in bulk to, I can think of my industry, for example. In the cosmetic industry, we bulk sell certain products to spas. For example, we will create the product, we will package it. The spa professionals can buy like 400, 500 units at the time. They will add their labels to it, and that becomes a wholesaling product. So all of these different business models within this broader category are highly valuable. You just need to figure out which one works for you. And also keep in mind, you can start with one and end with another. That's perfectly fine. We are all about refining, restructuring, right? Learning as you go and only getting better and improving. The fourth thing, this is the not so fun stuff. You need to set up a legal entity, right? You want to protect yourself and operate professionally. So you will need to register your business as an LLC, sole proprietor. I am not a legal person, but you have various options on how you would structure your business. You need to get a business bank account. You need to get the necessary permits, licensing, secure trademarks, patents, all of the things that are applicable for your particular product, right? And I think this is where you really begin to see the intricacy of a product based business, right? Because it really does require you from the get go to set yourself up as a business and an entity in a way that a service or a media based business may not be required until further down the line, okay? And I think that it's also important for me to make sure that there's a distinction, right? Not all physical based businesses are created equal. If you are a crafty person creating some craft goods that you're selling every weekend at trade shows, it's very different from the person who's like, hey, I am putting in $200,000 to manufacture a product with a manufacturing company, right? And then I'm going to try to go pitch it at Target, Sephora, Sprouts, Whole Foods, Amazon, Walmart. It's like that is a very different type of business. And I also hope that we're conceptualizing that, right? When it comes to a physical type business, there are different levels to it. And most likely for you women in corporate America who are building this, you would have to know from the get go which level do you want to jump yourself into. And in my opinion, if you want to go into the I'm putting in $200,000, $300,000 into this is why working a corporate job really matters. Let's say for 5 years, you save your bonus each year. You were listening to Nandy, you got a great degree, you climbed up that ladder as quickly as possible, and you bring in bonuses from $10,000 to $20,000 a year. After 5 years of savings, you could end up with anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000 if you are being super frugal with your money, and then you put that in a real product based business. In about 5 to 10 years, that $150,000 investment could become millions. Millions. It's going to take work from you, but it's a worthy investment. The fifth step you are going to take here is to create a brand and an online presence. Gone are the days where you could just be at home, locally go sell things door to door. Today, we have to create an online presence. Your brand is what will set you apart in the market. So you need to focus on creating a memorable name and very memorable and interesting logo aesthetic, and have consistent branding in colors, in font, in messaging across the board, so that every time somebody sees your branding, your logo, your designs, they know, that's so and so. I think that's them. Like now, we don't even have to think about it. We see certain brands, we know exactly what they are. Even if you're like me and you barely have 20/20 vision, you're like, oh, that's Coca-Cola. Right? We're talking about 100 years of conditioning us to know their brand, to fall in love with their brand. You will need a website with a strong user experience. That's going to be very important, because when you're selling a product based business, you need to give them an interesting way to experience your product online. And may I say, you also need to be active on social media. There's no way around it. I think for a very long time, I was staying away from social media. And then I realized, oh, honey, that's a missed opportunity, because people who are social media savvy are literally making thousands of dollars a day. I was watching YouTube, and there is a Twitch person. I don't know what the term is, but they live stream video games. And this guy talked about how in one day he makes $20,000 playing video game on some Twitcher. I was like, talk to Auntie Nanny. What the heck? Yo, I mean, I was like, what am I doing with my life? $20,000 in one day. Twitchering, playing video games on the Twitcher. Anyhow, let's come back to the issue at hand. The sixth step you'll be taking is to launch and market your business, right? So you've created your product, you've pre-tested it online on social media, doing polls, great reception. You went to manufacturing, you manufactured your product, or you ordered it from the supplier. You created your business entity, you started marketing it on social media. Now it's time for you to launch and really market that business, right? You have the product, now you're really pushing it. You're doing your launch parties and all of that. Once your product is ready, it's time to start selling it, right? Um, this is somewhere else where, unfortunately, you will have to put in some money. At the beginning, you could be doing some of these things yourself, but it's ideal if you use influencers, right? Do some affiliate marketing, partner with some macro influencers like myself. Small macro influencers are really the best way to win, because they can promote your product in a way that is not super expensive. If, let's say, you created a digital product, right, or a tech product, right? Let's say your specific tech product can, I don't know, a camera that can take pictures through walls or something. If you went to Marcus Bromley, I think that's his name, with like 20 million followers, how much you think you're going to pay for that? You got the money? Okay. But if you go to somebody who has like 5 or 10,000 loyal subscribers, you can start to gain some traction, because they would most likely not ask you for like $150,000 for 5 seconds mention. Right? It's probably going to be like, hey, give me $500 and I'll do a whole video review for that. So macro influencers is where you would win when you're smaller and you're just building your business. But you yourself should also learn how to be your own influencer. Are you creating content, sharing educational or entertainment content that relates to your product? This is why I'm a big believer in building a media based business first before we move into service or product. Do you have an email marketing list? You need to be building an email list to engage potential buyers. And whether or not you want to, you need paid advertising. So you need to be running Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, because this will drive traffic through your website, which will lead into more sales. The last step you will be doing here is to really, actually, I want you to start thinking about this early. But at this point, once you've started making some money, I want you to start thinking about scaling the business, automating it for long term growth. Scaling means increasing revenue without directly increasing your time or your workload. You want to automate operations. You want to expand your product. So, introducing complementary products that would increase the customer's lifetime value. For example, you created product X. How do we create product B that will go with product X so that the same customers are coming back to buy this? I also want you to start thinking about wholesaling. Can you leverage wholesaling and retail partnerships? Yes, this is hard, and this is why I'm mentioning this last, because this should be done once you've already built a reputation and you've already come to a place where you're known, you're respected, you have some brand identity. Now, because retail companies, before they give you shelf space, they want to know that you can actually sell this product, because they won't give you shelf space so that the product can just sit there collecting dust. They are very intentional in only selecting people who have already done the work to build brand recognition. Outsourcing tasks. Every video I mention this because your girlie, I'm big on outsourcing, darling. I'm big on outsourcing. I've been outsourcing work since I was like in my early 20s, barely making $17 an hour. I was making $17 an hour and paying a cleaning lady $15 an hour to come clean my apartment. Yes, that is the kind of woman I am. I'm really big on where can I have the biggest impact in my life. That's where I'm going to put my time. And honey, sweeping, mopping, and doing laundry, nope, that is not for me. In building a product-based business, it's really important that you realize that selling a product alone is not enough. You have got to build a community. You need to create a loyal customer base for strong brand storytelling and engagement. Because once you have built that community of people who love your products, it's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer. This is why the hybrid model is the best model, right? So think about building a media-based business first. You're building that community and then introducing your product business. Now you already have a base that's buying your product. And by people buying your product, you're even getting more people coming into your media business. So now people are flowing between both businesses. That to me is really how you truly win. Before we close out this video, there are two more things that I want you to talk about, so bear with me. Let's talk about how to effectively scale a product-based business. Scaling a product-based business really requires strategy and systems to ensure that sustainable growth, right? And I'm going to quickly share with you a few factors to consider. You need to leverage technology, right? Automation is going to be critical. So you have got to be very good at leveraging technology so that you're tracking your inventory effectively and you have a very strong email marketing and customer support. I need you to optimize pricing and profit margin. So you need to be regularly reviewing practice to ensure profitability. This is one of those businesses, although the potential of you making a lot of money is there, but my God, the potential of you bleeding cash is also very high. So you really need to be optimizing your pricing and profit margins. You need to build a reliable team. You need to learn how to delegate tasks and employ the right people and partner with the right contractors. I need you to expand your market reach. You need to consider international expansion if possible. I know now we're talking the big leagues, the big dogs. Right? But I think this is also why earlier I was saying, which market do you want to play in? Right? Because the product-based business can be something as small as I created some crafts in my backyard and I'm going to go sell it at the farmer's market, to I invested $3 million to create this unique product that I'm going to sell all over the world. Okay. Increasing customer retention. My gosh, loyalty in this thing is really important. You need to monitor financial metrics. You need to keep track of cash flow and profit margins and all of your business expenses. You cannot sleep on your money. You need to be making sure that you have very clear financial metrics that you're tracking. And I promise you, the tracking needs to be done on a weekly basis. Actually, do it on a daily basis. Because I promise you, if you are not checking your money every single day, at the most every single week, your business will get away from you very quickly. So those are the things that you will need to do to really scale up this business into the big dogs. But now, let me give you a reality check before we go. This particular business model is very difficult to get into, to succeed in, because it does require a lot of expertise. It also requires a lot of capital in order for you to get it going. The upsides are high, but making it through this business is very difficult. I'm in a product based business in my full time job, and let me tell you something, I see firsthand the challenges that comes from building this business. If you are going to build a product based business or any business at all, my suggestion is to really start with the media business first. Start really knowing who your audience is, connect with them, build that intimacy, and then move on to a product based business. If this video gave you clarity, don't keep it to yourself. Please share it with another powerhouse woman who needs this knowledge. And if you're ready to take financial security seriously, I share videos on a weekly basis, videos about career, business, finance, everything that you need to learn to leverage your career so that you can build long term wealth. Welcome to Module 3. It's the service based business deep dive. This is ideal for women who want to monetize their skills and experience through freelancing, coaching, and consulting. We'll walk through how you package your expertise, find premium clients, and price your services for profit. You also learn how to scale beyond your time by using group coaching, retainers, and digital products that complement your service. If you want fast income and low startup costs, this model offers a higher return with the right system. It's time for us to talk about my favorite business model, that is the service based business model. If you've been following my channel for a while, I have been going through a series of business models that women in corporate America can start as a side business. It's really important that you understand that not all businesses are created equal and not all businesses will work for you. For us, women with full time jobs looking to leverage that full time job to build long term wealth, we really do need to choose the right business strategies. Choosing the right business strategy is the difference between you being successful and you struggling. And because you already, as a woman in corporate, have a place of expertise, you already have experience in a particular field and industry, the service based business could be the perfect business model for you. But does that mean that this model fits your goal? So before you invest time, energy, or money, we need some clarity on what exactly it is and how you can succeed with this particular business model. If you've been thinking about starting a business but aren't really sure what type of business you want to start, this video will help you make the right decision. A service based business allows you to leverage what you already know and get paid for it. You don't have to worry about inventory. You don't have to worry about product development. You don't have to worry about complicated logistics. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, click over here because I recently talked about a product based business model. If that is for you, The video is going to be linked up here. You can click on that after this is over. There's also a link down below so that you can see how that business model differs from the service-based business model. So you just need your expertise. You need to structure it in a way that provides value. And in this video, you will learn what a service-based business is and how it works, the key benefits of this business model and why it might not be right for you, and the exact steps to launch and scale a profitable service-based business. By the end of the video, you will have an absolute clarity on whether a service-based business is for you and whether or not this is the right move for you to understand exactly how to turn your corporate expertise into a profitable, scalable business. You know how to start immediately without confusion, hesitation, or wasted effort. This is your decision, your business, and your future. If you are serious about building financial freedom beyond the corporate paycheck, keep watching. And please hit the like button, subscribe so the algorithm gods can help more women find my channel. This is a small task for you, but for me, it means everything. In today's digital age, building a service-based business is an excellent way for women in corporate America to diversify income, gain financial independence, and create a more flexible lifestyle. Whether you're passionate about coaching, consulting, bookkeeping, or any other services, starting a business can be an empowering journey. And if you are new to entrepreneurship, no worry. This video is your guide. It will walk you through the foundational steps to building and scaling your service business successfully. Before we get started, let's first talk about what is a service-based business. A service-based business is really just like, think about what you do currently at your job. You are technically offering your company a service, and in return, they are paying you for that service. So you provide expertise, skills, or a solution to clients rather than a physical product. These businesses will often operate by delivering value through specialized services, which can be offered in person or online. I prefer online, of course. Examples of service-based businesses include financial coaching, consulting, social media management, virtual assistant services, personal training. Yes, absolutely. Personal training is a service. For a very long time, we thought the only way you could offer this service was through a gym. But for a year, I had a personal trainer. I was in California. She was in the East Coast. So I will be waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning to train with my trainer. The key to a successful business model is to leverage your knowledge and expertise in order to solve a client's problem. This is really important. When you offer a service-based business, your job is to solve problems and to fulfill a very specific need. So when you're thinking about a service-based business, that's really where you have to start. Are you really solving a problem? And is there mass demand for that problem? You need to clearly define it. You need to figure out who needs a solution and what the solution is going to be. Let's talk about the benefits of a service-based business. This particular business, in my opinion, comes with a lot of upsides and a lot of benefits. Service-based business come with a lot of advantages, and honestly, this makes them a very attractive business model. The first benefit we are going to discuss is the low startup cost. Most service-based business require very minimal upfront investment. Often, you just need a laptop, you need internet connection, and you need a professional branding. And if you already in corporate America and you already have a network, people already know you, that's the beginning of professional branding right there. What we also love about this business is that it offers high profit margins. You have no inventory, you have no manufacturing cost, you have no office cost because you can do it in your home. So your profit margins tend to be higher compared to a product-based business. Flexible work schedule. My God, this is my personal favorite. Honestly, to me, this puts it on the top of all business model. When you have a service-based business, you can operate from anywhere. You can set your own hours and you can adjust your workload based on your lifestyle. Let's say, for example, you just had a baby. You're going to stay home for 6 months to a year and maybe just take 2 or 3 clients. When the baby is of school age, now you can take on 10 clients. Or let's say you have kids who are off in the summer and in the winter. In the summer months, you cut down how many clients you see. But when they go back to school, you amp up how many clients you want to see, right? So I like that flexibility because it allows you to be able to modulate your schedule based on your life and your family's lifestyle. Another great benefit is quick market entry. Since you really don't have the barrier of a physical product that needs to be developed, that needs to go through the full product development life cycle, that can take anywhere from 6 months if you're crazy to 2 years if you want to do it to perfection. You can start offering services very quickly or almost immediately, right? You can go to a networking event, tell them, here are my services. If you price it low enough, somebody's going to buy it. And before you know it, you have your first client. I do have to say this disclaimer, don't get me wrong. This business, any business, is not easy. It takes time to build, to strengthen relationship, to strengthen your reputation. Okay, so there's no way I am telling you that you can just start making money hands over fist tomorrow. It still takes time. But the barrier to entry in terms of financial investing upfront is lower. Another great benefit of this particular business model is the scalability. With digital tools, automation, and hiring subcontractors, a service based business can grow without requiring significant infrastructure, right? And I also want to be very honest. I think the scalability is both a pro and a con. I think it depends on what your service based business is, right? If you structure your service based business around primarily you, it might be harder to scale. And this is why, from the very beginning, I am really emphasizing scalability because we don't want you going from having a job working for someone else to having a job working for yourself. That makes no sense, right? We want to empower you to build businesses that you can hand over tasks to other people so that they can take that on, allowing you to leverage their time to build your wealth. Now, let's talk about your winning strategies. This is the blueprint of how you will win in this particular business model. The first thing that I want you to do is to identify your skills and your niche. Yes, 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 yes. That is a throughput for all of these different businesses. You will not win in business if you do not know specifically who you are talking to and why you are talking to them, right? You need to know who your people is. Who is my people? Who is my person? You need to identify them and you need to identify them clearly. There's an exercise that you actually need to do is to specifically identify who that avatar is. What's her hair look like? What's her eye color? Where does she like to go shopping? I work in the beauty space. And when our consumer groups were doing studies to identify who the consumer was, I mean, they were detailed. Very, very detailed. Because the more detailed you are, the more you can speak to their hearts and not just their minds. So you really need to identify your skill set and how it would match to your niche. So consider your skills, your expertise, and your interests. Ask yourself, what am I naturally good at? What problems do people frequently ask me for help with? What industry, knowledge, or skills do I already possess? This is really important. I don't want you starting from scratch. You need to base your service based business on expertise. Today, you need to go to a networking event and say that I have a decade of experience in X, Y, and Z, and I can offer X, Y, and Z services. So, taking stock of the knowledge and the skills you already possess that others will pay for is really the number one way you will win in this game. Do not go reinventing the wheel. Now, unless you just really, really hate what you've been doing for the past 10 years, that's a totally different conversation. But if you already have that expertise, let me tell you something. There's something beautiful about effortless money. And effortless money is money that comes from you're paying me based on my expertise, not based on how many hours I work. That is the ultimate place we want to take you to, right? Because, for example, you will be hired by some business to come help solve a stability issue for a particular product. The other scientists, it might take them 5 hours to figure out the issue, but you might go in there, analyze something for 30 minutes, and give them a solution. You're not being paid per hour, you're being paid for that solution. And that solution might cost that company $600 to $1,000. That is what you want to command. The second thing I want you to do is to validate your business idea. If you've watched all of my deep dive business model videos, you know that some of these things are the same, but how you do them will change a little bit, right? No matter what business you're running, you have got to validate that business. Before investing heavily into brandings and tools, you need to validate your idea by offering the service at a discounted price. And honestly, I know this is controversial to some people. I am okay offering services for free when I'm still trying to test the waters, because this allows me to test the demand and to gather feedback from people I know and trust, right? If you have colleagues at your current job who will be willing to test out the services, friends, open things out to them, right? I think it really depends, right? But colleagues, if you have a 9 to 5 job right now, I wouldn't want them to know the things that you're doing, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because sometimes it helps to build your business in silence and away from prying eyes and judgment. So I would connect with potential clients and friends. And I think that it's also really important that even though you're leveraging your skills, but that you try to differentiate your business from your career, right? So let's say in your career, you're a CPA, but you're CPA for one company. That's very different than, for example, if you were a contracting CPAs that goes into your town and get all sorts of customers. That would be challenging for you to have your own business under those circumstances, right? So maybe in this case, instead of you offering CPA services to businesses, maybe you do bookkeeping services, right? Something to differentiate you from your current business, but something that still leans on the knowledge of your current business. And I also want you to start conducting market research to assess the competition and pricing. Build a social media presence. You want to start seeing, well, who's out there? What are they doing? And how will I stack up against them? I'm going to talk a little bit about this at the end. And I keep talking about this in every single video. You need to be taking advantage of more than one business model. Maybe this is where you're also starting a YouTube channel, or you're starting a strong social media presence on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram so that you can start to gin up interest on your business before you've even launched. And you're gauging for them, well, what do they need? What responds well to them, so that you're pairing the media based business with the service based business strategy together. Okay? The third thing I want you to do is to begin to set up your business structure. I know this is the boring stuff, so I'll go through it quickly. You don't necessarily need an LLC immediately. And I'm a big believer that unless you're forming a product based business that will have IP, trademarks, and etc., to give your business the time to be nurtured before you really start moving into the LLC space. But as soon as you start earning some money, consider setting up a legal structure for tax benefits and liability protection. Right? For example, you can get an EIN number right away. You can get a separate bank account right away and at least start with that. But in terms of registering an LLC and all of that, I think you can wait until you've had one or two consistent clients, because I think you don't know where this business is going. You want to establish it first, then truly build a branding around it, do all of your research. Now you have your register, your business name, and all of that. Okay, so that's just my preference, but you need to do what is best for you. And you also need to listen to your team around you. Maybe you have a lawyer that tells you, yeah, we need you to set up X, Y, and Z. But be careful though, because especially if that lawyer is going to benefit from you setting up that LLC, right? But you need to do what is best for you. But what I do want you to do though is to open a bank account and to set up real clear contracts to protect your work and agreements with clients. That's a non-negotiable. Those are things that you can set up outside of an LLC. The only thing I'm not really a big fan of is setting up LLC. I feel like Black people especially, we're like, we love LLCs, man. A Black person dreams up a little business around the corner selling lemonade. They're like, you need to get you an LLC, because somewhere in our minds, having an LLC makes us believe that we're business people, but having an LLC doesn't make you a businesswoman. It's making money that makes you a businesswoman. I also want you in this, when you're validating your business, to start deciding on your pricing model, right? How do you want to get paid? Is it on an hourly basis, a project basis, a retainer? I would highly, highly discourage you from offering an hourly basis pay, because you are not getting paid based on how many hours you put into a project. You're getting paid based on your expertise. Set that standard early on. Unless you don't really feel comfortable, you're still testing the waters, avoid hourly pay as much as you can, right? And just set that standard clear from the very beginning. The fourth thing you are going to do is to establish your online presence. I think this goes without saying. Even if you don't have a website, you can start attracting clients through social media. Having a website is not easy and it can take time. By the way, right over here, I am going to link 3 videos to online CRMs that you can use to start your service based business. All of them will allow you to be able to either sell digital products, take on clients, conduct meetings. The 3 CRMs that I'm going to share will be: one, Pensite. This is for, let's say you're in college and you want to dip your toes, use Pensite. The second one that I'm going to share is Beacons. Beacons, very similar to Pensite, is great if you're offering coaching services. You can create an okay website. It's a little bit more elevated from Pensite, but it costs less. So we'll leave the link here, somewhere around here, so you can review that and see if that would work for your service-based business. And then my personal favorite is Honeybook, and we'll leave the link around here as well. And we'll also have these links in the description below. Honeybook, to me, is the perfect one for people who are like photographers, wedding planners. I mean, they have so many great features. I won't go through them here, but those are cheap and effective ways for you to set up an online presence that won't cost you a lot of money. And of course, outside of that website, you have your social media: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. All of this is going to be a way for you to share your services with potential customers. Make sure that on your social media, you focus on education, entertainment, and testimonials. You do not want your social media to be, hey, buy something for me. Hey, buy something for me. Hey, buy something for me. You will lose people very quickly. Very, very quickly. When you have your website, you can have a specific area where you pitch your services, where your services and pricing will be displayed and your testimonials. But please, on your social media, try to not be the person who has nothing but pitches on her social media. It doesn't work very well. Now, let's talk about getting you clients. Your first clients, be open for them to come from everywhere: your corporate network, your former boss, your industry connections, social media engagement, posting constantly and offering value, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, right? Really be open to having leads coming from everywhere. And honestly, when you are a service based business, your leads will determine whether or not you will eat or you will go hungry. So you need to take lead generation very seriously. Along with your network bringing you leads, You also need to do some cold outreach via email and DMs. Yes, I know. How many of you have opened your LinkedIn and you see that you have a message? You're like, oh, I wonder who has taken the time to send me a little DM today, and it's somebody offering the services, their products, etc. You cannot be shy about that. You have to really take that approach because you never know where your best client is going to come from. Right? Consider offering free educational content, free webinars, consultation, or introductory discounts to build trust and attract clients, right? And this for a lot of people is hit and miss. I often have people who say, no, I never offer anything free. You need to do what is best for you. Is what's best for you a 20% off discount, or hey, I'm going to do your first X, Y, and Z service completely gratis. In return, you will write a testimonial for me. And if you want to keep moving forward, I will offer you X% off. That to me is not a bad deal for a service based business, somebody who's starting out. You knew this one was coming. Systemize and automate to scale. You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming, my darling. Once you start getting consistent clients, shift your focus to efficiency and scaling. So here is exactly how you are going to do that. You want to automate your bookings. And that's where those softwares that I just shared with you earlier, Pensight Beacons and Honeybook, will be handy here. It's a worthy investment. And when you go through them, you will know why. With these tools, you can reduce the back and forth you have with clients. When it comes to scheduling meetings, you can automate that on that site, sending them documents to sign. Honeybook, for example, and even Beacons and Pensight, you can use templates for proposal, contracts, and onboarding to save you time. Hire support. Your girl has a couple of people who help her on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, because you, as a woman in corporate America, will go utterly insane. Or actually, you will not perform as highly as you can in your work if all of your energy is out there chasing these clients, because you're building this business on the side and you already have a full-time job. And when I talk about leveraging your full-time job, this is exactly what I mean. What I did this year, I took money out of my savings and I invested it in this business. I can do that because I have a high powered career that enables me to be able to make those types of sacrifices or investments. You can hire a virtual assistant, a junior consultant to help buy back some of your time so that anything you do not like doing is outsourced. Your time is now spent doing only the high impact tasks in your business. For me, high impact tasks is actually making the videos. Today, I'm batch creating content. 7, 8 videos are going to be created today. Can I edit 7 or 8 videos? I don't think so. But I have an editor who is going to slowly editing these videos. In the next month or so, I don't have to record a video because I already have the content. So work smart and not just hard. Here is another thing that I really want you to do that would really help with scaling. A service-based business requires you to actually be the expert offering the service to make money. And often this is very hard to scale unless you start thinking creatively by creating digital products. Can you write an ebook, a guide, a template, an online course that will now generate passive income on your behalf? Right? The type of business I want you specifically to start creating is one that will cater to other businesses, right? So what you can now maybe do, think about, instead of you always being the person who goes there and gives the service, maybe you build a blueprint SOP that B2B businesses can buy from you. And now the team can read those watch videos so that they know how to troubleshoot things faster. If you're a coach, can you create a group coaching program and have an online academy where now you have your online academy that gives you monthly membership? You have the group coaching program that gives you a little bit more money, committed people. And then if, and only if it's a super high powered customer or client, you do one-on-one coaching, right? So you have your academy that will be like less than 100. You have the group coaching that will be anywhere from 500 to 2,000. And then you have the private coaching that will be 2,000 or plus. This is really how you begin to scale when you have a service-based business. So the seventh thing you are going to do to win in this particular business is to leverage marketing and referrals. You need to grow your business. Right? I want you to focus on building authority and attracting more clients. Right? Content marketing. Create a valuable blog post, video, or newsletter. Yes, this is where earlier when I was talking to you about pairing a media-based business with a service-based business, they actually do very well together. Client referrals. Offer discounts and incentive for referrals. Partnerships. Who can you collaborate with that complements your service? So let's say, for example, you are a bookkeeper, you collaborate with a tax preparer, and now you're both working together. Let's say you are a mindset coach, you collaborate with a nutrition coach, for example, right? And now you're funneling customers to one another. Paid advertising. You have no choice. If you really want to succeed in your business, you have to do some degree of paid advertising. You need to experiment with Facebook, LinkedIn ads, Google ads, right? Once you have your proven strategy, run with it. The last thing we are going to talk about, this one honestly is going to be very important, especially for you, my corporate power mavens, is how do you transition from side hustle to full time business if you want to? And I think this is really important for me to be able to emphasize here. You don't always have to be building a side business because you want to escape your 9 to 5 job. That's not true. You can be building a side business because you want it, because you care about it, and because you like the security of the extra income. Most of us, yes, that is our goal. We want to be able to make the power move of thriving in corporate America and then transitioning into our own business, right? That is scalable, that will give us more time freedom, that will give us more control over our schedule and our lifestyle, right? One day when I have a baby, I want to spend as much time as possible with my children. I don't want to spend it having to ask permission to my boss to spend time with my children. That's a no-no. But if you're one of those people who want to eventually transition into this business full time, here are some things that I want you to think about. Before you quit, you want to make sure that you have 6 to 12 months of savings as a safety net. You want to have a steady stream of recurring revenue, and you want to secure long-term client contracts. This is really important. Service-based business can be inconsistent. So if you ever want to say, I'm going to quit this business to take on this service-based business, do you have long term clients? And do you have a cushion that will sustain you? And most importantly, do you potentially have multiple streams of income? When I was talking about building a media based business along with your service based business, it's to protect you against the fluctuation of both businesses, right? Because the more income you have coming in, the more you can save, and also the more you can cushion the bad weeks, the bad months, and even the bad years. Before we go, I really hope you have enjoyed this whole series on different types of businesses. The service based business is one of my personal favorite because to me, it's the best way to maximize your impact, to maximize your income, but you're leveraging experience as a woman in corporate America. Starting a business is really empowering, especially the service based business. This journey will allow you to build wealth and create career flexibility. So, really, right now, commit to leveraging your existing skills and start just putting the feelers out there. What can you build? What type of business can you build? Start low key validating that business. See if you can secure clients and then focus on automating that business. The key is to take action, even if it's imperfect, slow, small action. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll build a profitable business that aligns with your lifestyle and your financial goals. So don't be scared. Go out there and get started. The worst case scenario, you would learn a whole lot of things. If this video helped you gain clarity on whether the service based business is right for you, please share it with an ambitious woman in corporate America who needs this insight. Welcome to module number 4, the media based business deep dive. This one's for the content creators, the storytellers, and the educators. If you ever wanted to build a brand on YouTube or through blogging and podcasting or even TikTok, this module is for you. We'll explore how to monetize your content through affiliate marketing, sponsorships, and premium products. And even more, you'll learn how to batch and repurpose content so that your business runs even when you're offline. This model takes longer to build, but the upsides, it can be one of the most passive and scalable stream of income you'll ever create. Entrepreneurship isn't just about quitting your job. It's about choosing the right business model. You already know that you're not meant to stay in a corporate system built by limitations. But how exactly do you decide what type of business is actually worth you investing and building your time around? That is where strategy comes in. In my previous video, I shared with you guys 3 business models that you can pretty much build all types of business around. I also talked to you guys about how you can ebb and flow between all 3 of these business models, right? And almost create a hybrid based approach that works best for you. Today, however, we are isolating one of these business models and we are deep diving into this business model. It's important that we do this deep dive because not all businesses are created equal. And also, not all businesses are for you. If you want long term success, you need a model that aligns with your skill set, your passion, and your vision for financial freedom. Today, I'm here to teach you everything you need to know about building a media based business. This is a business that turns your knowledge into content, and you can scale without limits and generate multiple streams of income. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what a media business is, why it's honestly one of the most powerful business model for corporate professional women, and you will also know whether or not this is the right path for you. Because you are not just picking a side hustle, you, my dear, are choosing your future. If you, my dear, are serious about turning your corporate experience into an asset that works for you, keep watching and hit that like button and subscribe so that the algorithm gods can help us find more people who need this message. Let's go ahead and get started with the topic at hand. So, what exactly is a media based business? A media based business is a business that creates and distributes content as its primary value proposition. This can include content on YouTube, like what you're watching right now, on TikTok, but it also includes audio content, podcasts, for example, written content, blogs, newsletters. Ideally, you're ebbing and you're flowing and you're playing with all of these different forms. The goal here is that you are attracting an audience and providing value to that audience through your content. And then in return, you can monetize through ads, sponsorship, digital products, consulting, and other revenue streams. For women in corporate America, this types of business model allows you to leverage your technical expertise and begin to build a brand and create really truly sustainable source of income outside of your 9 to 5 job. I'm also a believer in starting with the media based business because once you've built your audience, you can really tap into those other forms of business models. So, now let's talk about the benefits of this particular business model. Starting a media based business offers numerous advantages, especially for women looking to achieve financial independence and creative freedom while maintaining a corporate career. Some key benefits are: one, low startup cost. Unlike a product based business model, for example, this requires no inventory or physical location. A media based business can be launched with very, very little financial investments. The second benefit is flexibility. Oh my gosh, this business is the most flexible of all business model. Content creation can be done on a schedule that fits with your existing work or personal commitment. Because sometimes, if you're a content based business, you could wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning if you have insomnia and get your work done. Some of these other business models, like if you're working a service based model and you need to be in front of a customer, you have to work whenever that meeting is scheduled. So, great flexibility with the media based business. Scalability. With a digital presence, content can reach a global audience. And really, you can truly grow exponentially over time if you keep at it. Authority building. By sharing expertise and insight, you, as a woman in corporate America, can truly position yourself as an industry leader, and this will open up doors to so many other opportunities for both career and business. Another benefit of this business model: multiple streams of income. A well structured media business can generate income through various channels. It can also reduce financial reliance on one single employer. Right now, as an employee, you have one source of income. Now, you could consider all of your benefits, your 401k, all of that as extra little streams, but it's not the same as building a side business that compounding over time will keep paying for you. And I also want you to think about this when it comes to a service based business: the ability to generate potentially passive income. You do the hard work one time, and that hard work will keep paying for you. You see these examples all the time on YouTube. Somebody created a video 10 years ago, but because that video gained traction, that video is still making them anywhere from $100 to $1,000 every month. One video. Now let's talk about how do you win with a media-based business. We need to know that building a successful media-based business requires a very strategic approach. And I'm going to share with you exactly how you are going to win in this space. The first thing I want you to do is to clarify a niche and a brand identity. This is critical to your success. You need to define a clear focus that aligns with expertise and market demand. Very important. We'll share more about how the action steps of how you would do this in the next section. The second thing you are going to do is create consistent, high quality content. You need to establish a posting schedule and maintain high productive value. This is really important. We're not talking perfection here, but we're talking slowly progressing your quality to a place that you are eventually providing high quality content. The third thing that we are going to be doing here is audience engagement and growth. I want you to actively be interacting with whoever your audience is. You should be providing them value, answering their questions, right? And also making sure that you are using SEO and social media algorithms to continue to grow your reach. So you really need to understand whatever platform you are on, right? Do you understand how the algorithm works? Do you understand how this SEO works? This is going to be critical in you making sure that the people who are coming to you are your people. You want to be interacting with your people. That is why we are niching down. We are niching down because it's really important that we connect with people who are like minded and heart minded as well. The third way you are going to be winning in this particular business model is by establishing multiple revenue streams, right? I want you to start thinking early on about implementing a mix of different types of income strategies: sponsorships, digital products, affiliate marketing, ad revenue. All of this will maximize your earning. The fifth way you are going to win is through scalability and long term vision. I really want you to plan for expansion into courses, teaching, membership, and even full time entrepreneurship when your business is scalable. So, from the very beginning, you are already thinking about where you are going to end up. You are thinking about scaling this business to really maximize its impact in your life, because we are not moving into entrepreneurships so that we can give ourselves another full time job, okay? Now, let's dig a little bit deeper into specific ways you are going to win in each one of these categories. The first way you are going to win is by defining your niche and brand identity. Your niche should align with your expertise, your market demand, and your passion. Women in corporate roles already possess valuable industry knowledge that can be translated into education, motivation, or even entertainment content. What I'm doing right now is me leveraging all of my experience in corporate America to educate you, my beautiful power mavens. But let's say, for example, you were in the film industry. You could start creating great content that is entertaining. Some of my favorite channels is that I follow people who used to be writers, editors, stunt people in the film industry, and now they do movie reviews. Very entertaining content, very popular content that people enjoy. Now, let's talk about popular niches that you can actually start to play in. Finance and wealth building. That is the niche that I belong to. And no, I did not pick this niche because it's popular. In a way, this niche being popular also means more competition. But I picked it because my default, I'm a hustler. I've been a hustler since I was really young. I have scars to show for it, a net worth to show for it, an income to show for it, and lots of credit card debt to show for it too. So really what I have is experience and truly authority in this particular niche. If you choose finance and wealth building as your niche, you are educating men and women on stock investing, credit management, financial independence, real estate investing. There's so much content for you to choose from, right? Career growth and personal branding. So, if you are in this particular niche, you are guiding professionals on leadership, salary negotiation, workplace success. You can talk about minimalism and lifestyle. This one is interesting. I mean, I have benched so many minimalist and lifestyle videos. It's crazy, right? So, you could be teaching about intentional living, productivity, elegant simplicity, which is what I'm trying to work on, right? And another really popular niche is business and entrepreneurship. You could be helping women in corporate America transition into full time entrepreneurships, right? Helping them to build side hustles. We talked about defining your niche. Now let's talk about your brand identity. And brand identity is really important. From the get go, I do not want you to sleep on establishing a brand identity. So your brand identity will evolve, but this is how you build it, okay? You want it to reflect your unique perspective, your personality, and whatever transformation you want to offer your audience. And some of the ways to kind of start defining your brand identity is to define some really key important things, right? Your visuals are going to be very important. You want to define your colors. Usually, you pick between 4 or 5 colors that you will be playing in. And most of the time, all of your designs will have that consistency in color theme. I also want you to select some fonts. So with these fonts, all of your designs will have these 2 to 3 fonts that you've pre-selected for your design. And the way you would select these fonts is that you will have like a thick bold font, a medium bold font, and more like a thin cursive type font, right? This gives you some flexibility for your designer to create all kinds of amazing goodies if you pick a designer. And I also want you to have consistency in messaging style. So is your voice more professional? Is your voice more fun, girly, let's have a good time? Or is your voice going to be more I don't know, cartoonish, but you decide whatever that voice is going to be, and also whatever your style is going to be, right? Is your style going to be more prim and proper or edgy or, comic booky? It's really up to you to define what that is. The second thing we are going to do to win in this particular model is that we are going to choose your media platform. Decide where you will create and distribute your content. Each platform serves different engagement styles. So, for example, YouTube is best for in depth videos, so long form content is better on YouTube. Podcasting is great for discussions, right? So, let's say you want to do a discussion, interview style, thought leadership content. You will do a podcast because you'll be inviting, let's say, other leaders in your industry and you'll be interviewing them. So that's a podcast model. Blogging, this is great for long form storytelling. If you're doing a lot of product reviews, because quite often I turn on my phone and I'm like, can you tell me what's the difference between this thing and that thing? And I just want to quickly read it. I don't want to go through a full video. Blogging is great for that. And then you have various social media platforms like Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch. I mean, there are so many out there. Blue Sky now. Like every single day, I turn around and there's a new social media platform. Nevertheless, right? These are useful for building an audience, for boosting your brand visibility. So, for example, as a woman in corporate America, if let's say you're in finance, you could start a YouTube channel teaching stock investing, and you use LinkedIn to build credibility with the professional audience. Yeah, LinkedIn is another one. Now you're pairing your expertise with an interesting social media platform, and this could open up opportunities for jobs, consulting, right? The world is your oyster. The third way you are going to win in this particular business is to by leveraging your corporate skills. Corporate women, you already possess key skills that translate into running a media based business efficiently. In corporate America, you're constantly having to do what? Presentations. You're constantly having to communicate your value to your employer. This is very useful to creating engaging video or podcast content. If you are a project manager, you can help with content planning, collaboration, and scaling. If you have marketing and branding skill set, this can be applied into building an online presence and growing your audience. As women in corporate America, networking is really important. We are always attending industry events, connecting with our peers at various conferences. Corporate connections can lead to partnerships, sponsorships, and monetization opportunities. Research and development people, you can also play in this space. You are useful for creating data driven content that provides value and builds trust in an audience. So you can see how no matter what space, what function you play in corporate America, you can leverage that to build really good content. Just be really smart about the niche that you're picking, that it already aligns with your skill set, your passion now. If you're one of those people, let's say you accidentally got thrown into marketing, research and development, project management, and you hate it, don't create content around it. But for most of us, we love the functions that we're in. We tend to be unhappy in corporate America because we don't like the politics, we don't like the toxicity, but we love what we do. And if that's you, take that, translate it into great content on YouTube, and you will thrive. The fourth way you are going to win is to monetize your media business strategically. So here's what that looks like. Building a media based business is not just about creating content, it's really about generating revenue. And you, my darling, can monetize in many different ways. Affiliate marketing, this is where you can promote relevant tools, courses, and products in order for you to earn income. So, for example, I talk about Simplify quite often. I use Simplify all the time. I reached out to them and I was like, hey, I would love to become an affiliate. so that every time I recommend Simplify and somebody actually sign up for Simplify, you guys can give me a code. With that code, my audience, if they choose to use my code, they get a discount. And from that discount, I get a commission. This is something that I've been using for a long time, something that I love. All I'm doing is do what I already do. Like right now, I am not affiliated with Simplify, right? I'm still working on that. I'm new to this game, so I don't really know all the inner workings, but this is why I love my channel. We are learning together. So anytime you promote a product, how often have we tried something, loved it, and just started telling everybody? Affiliate marketing is simply getting paid for what you were going to do anyways. You might as well make a little extra from that. So affiliate marketing, do not sleep on it, because commission on products, tools, courses can really add to your bottom line. Sponsorships and brand deals. I don't know much about this arena, so I actually joined a coaching program so I can learn about all of these different things, so that as I grow my audience, I am prepared, because I very much am committed to growing my YouTube channel, growing my audience with people who are like minded and heart minded, so that, right, we are learning from one another. With partnerships and brand deals, I would absolutely love to have brand deals with companies that I love. Like right now, Simplify is a company that, I mean, I love using them. I would love to have some sort of sponsorship and brand deal with them. Right? So partnering with your favorite brands that align with your content is a great way to monetize, right? Now, depending on who you're partnering with, I'm a finance channel, so I don't know how big the money is. If you are a tech channel, there is so much money you can make from tech. Digital products. Create, sell digital products, courses, ebooks, planners, templates, coaching and consulting. I mean, this one for me, especially for us corporate women, this is really where we should put most of our focus, right? This is where you're offering guidance. For coaching, you can do group coaching guidance, or you can do one-on-one guidance. For consulting, you are selling your expertise, but I want you as a woman in corporate America to sell that expertise to a business and not to individuals if you can. Ad revenue. This is very relevant for YouTube. So this is where you earn YouTube AdSense revenue. If you have podcasts, sponsorships, blogs, you can put ads on your blogs, your podcasts, etc., so that you can earn ad revenue. Another way we are going to be monetizing, I know it's a lot, but it's exciting. Membership and paid communities. This one for me is my personal favorite. I love the idea, and that is actually what I want to build into. I'm a big believer in education. While you can come on YouTube and get a lot of nuggets here and there, there's something powerful about having a system that is really designed to take you from point A to point B. And memberships and academies and communities will do that. And not only do you have classrooms that are taking you from A to B, you have a community of other people who are going through the same courses, exercises, have the same goal, and you're holding each other accountable, right? So that is one type of membership, like an academy. But there are also Patreon. This is when people on YouTube who just really care about you can pay a monthly fee to get access to specific paid content that you're offering just to them. Substack, this one is growing. I think it's really interesting. Substack is a newsletter membership. You can sign up and they can send you like weekly or daily newsletters. We thought newsletters were dead, but there's an abundance and a growth right now on Substack. So if you like writing, this one is for you. Private groups. I love private groups because of the community. So when it comes to monetization, the world is honestly your oyster. A fifth way you can actually win in this particular business model is because of time management. I believe that a media based business is the best one when it comes to flexibility, managing your time, and avoiding burnout. I mean, I absolutely love it. Today, I have an extra 30 minutes before my next meeting. I'm recording this video and I can just kind of squeeze it here and there and it works. But most of the time, I'm waking up at 5 o'clock, sometimes even 3 o'clock in the morning. I put my makeup on, I start around 5 o'clock, and I record 10 or 12 videos in one day. 12 is the maximum I've been able to do. I would love to be able to do 15 one day. But the good thing is that content can then be repurposed. But let me not get ahead of myself. As a woman who has a full-time job and is also building a business, you are balancing your corporate career and a media business. This requires incredible jujitsu in time management. You always need to be on top of it. So the first thing I want you to do here, this is my favorite thing, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Batch your content. You will have to sit down and record multiple videos, write multiple blogs, schedule multiple social media content at the same time. I believe in the assembly line principle. So, for example, on Monday, you research all of your content. On Tuesday, you write all of your script, clean everything up. On Saturday, you record all of the videos at the same time. For your blog post, same thing. By doing batch content creation, first of all, making sure that when you are in your best mind, you are your most productive, you're getting work done. You are not relying on some availability here and there. You're scheduling it, you're doing it, because you will lose motivation sometimes, and that would impact your consistency. But if you're batching the work, you don't need to have motivation right now in order for you to release a video. My other favorite time management tool: automate and outsource. My goodness, use tools like Canva. I love Canva. I use Canva so much. I swear to God, I'm like, man, I use Canva so much. It's crazy, right? Notion is a tool everybody loves. I haven't been able to get into Notion, but everybody loves it. And then use Metricool, Ladder, so many tools out there to automate the posting on social media. There is no reason why you have to go and post on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Use these tools and post online now. Here is what's really important for you to understand with social media and auto posting. You still have to go into each one of these platforms and interact with your people, right? So if all you're doing is just randomly sending content out there, you won't be successful. And I'm not gonna lie, that's what I was doing for a while. I wasn't successful, and I'm still not successful in other platforms. But that's because I'm a big believer in put all of your energy into one thing first, build that, and then move on into other things, okay? Outsource, outsource, outsource. Editing is the first thing you need to think about outsourcing. I'm going to tell you, I have consistently been able to post 2 videos at minimum a week. Sometimes I even post 3 or 4 videos. The only way I can do that was because at the beginning of 2025, I literally went into my savings account and pulled out money that I set aside specifically for editing budget for the full year. I wasn't playing. I knew I was building a business, but I wanted to build a business around a team. If I have to rely on myself to research the videos, to write the scripts, to record, and then to do the editing, to do the postscript, to do the posting, I would lose my mind and I wouldn't be successful. I know that. And another thing you need to do outside of outsourcing the editing is to start repurposing content. My social media manager is really great because she would take this video that I recorded, she will cut clips into it, and that becomes reels, shorts, etc. Maximize your time, leverage other people's time. Another big component of time management is setting boundaries. Dedicate specific hours for content creation and business growth. This should be a non-negotiable. In order for you to have really good work-life balance, I want you to start doing deep work. For me, this will be another video. I like the 5 to 9, 9 to 5, 5 to 9, right? 5 to 9 in the morning, I'm working my business. 9 to 5, I'm working my full-time job. No distractions. 5 p.m. to 9 a.m., that's about self-care. That's about me. This is really important. This is how you prevent burnout. This means that all of the other nonsense is out of the way. You will not catch me doom scrolling on the phone. I am not that girl. I do not have that kind of time because I'm already busy with other stuff. So be very selfish with your time. Another way we're winning with time management is by being very focused with high impact tasks. My darling, some things are not worth your time. For me, video editing is really critically important. I'm not good at it. Someone else can do it faster and better. Social media management. I'm not that girl. I'm not for you. I'm giving that to somebody else. What I do, I prioritize high impact tasks. In order for me to show up in front of you and give you quality videos, I need to be the person who's researching the content. I'm speaking often from my place of experience and expertise and from a place of research. So I really take the time to research the content, to draft out my script, and then to deliver the content to you. That to me, for this business, is high impact. Editing is important, but it's not my strength. And for me, it's not a high impact exercise. So I outsource that. You need to be able to determine what a high impact task is for your particular business. What is that to you? Maybe editing is a critical part of the success of your business. Maybe the shooting of the footage is not that big a deal, but the wizardry of the editing is important. For me, that one isn't. So I outsource that. I leave that behind. Before we go, I want to quickly add a bonus way that you are going to win in this particular business model and in almost all of these business models. That is to leverage a corporate job. Please don't quit right away. Use your job as the financial cushion to reinvest in your media based business. You want stable income coming in from that full time job. What I've done this year, at the beginning of the year, I did something very bold. I took a leap of faith and I pulled money out of my savings and I put it in this business. I have faith in this business and I have faith in myself. I have done it before. In the past, I have taken money out of my savings to build a real estate business. In just about 7 years, that business has now become a $2 million portfolio that brings in anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000 and gives me endless tax savings that can literally be translated into anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 a year just in tax savings outside of the cash flow that equals anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000 a year in cash flow. I want you to realize that having a full time job is really a game changer when it comes to building a side business. And not just because of the income, but everything else that comes with it, the networking, access to training. All of the benefits that you get from your business can all be leveraged. Your network, the things that you're learning just naturally in your career, in your full-time job, you can leverage every single one of them into this particular business. A lot of what I'm teaching you on this channel about finance, career, and business, specifically about career, is because of direct experience in my full time job. Please leverage your career. Squeeze that job for every penny because let me tell you something. They are using you, so you might as well use them too. Okay? As a woman in corporate America, you have a unique advantage in building a media based business due to your expertise, your professional network, and honestly, your financial security. By strategically leveraging your skills and defining a strong brand and monetizing effectively, you can truly create a profitable, impactful business. If this video gave you clarity on the media based business, and how to make it work for you, please do me a favor and share it with another woman in corporate America who needs to hear this. I hope you enjoyed this series on how to choose the right business model for you. Now that you understand the three core business models and the real opportunities within each and every single one of them, the next step is yours to take. Don't fall into the trap of copying what's trendy online. Instead, ask yourself, what business model works for my life right now and where I want to go in the future? The most successful businesses aren't built overnight. They are built with clarity, confidence, and strategic execution. And that's exactly what this masterclass is designed to give you. You have what it takes to build something powerful. So let's move forward with intention. So, what's coming up next? Your power move. Go make them. Down below, we have a few guides that would help you on your journey. You can download the free companion guide called Build a Business from Concept to Cash Flow. This will allow you to have access to worksheet, business model templates, and planning prompts. These are designed to help you apply everything you've learned in this masterclass immediately so you can make moves from idea to income with clarity and confidence. Down below, we also have the link to the Power Move Collective. This is your invitation to a private space for ambitious women who are building businesses, elevating their personal brand, and making intentional career moves. You don't have to build alone. Join the community. Up next, though, there's a great masterclass that will be coming. This masterclass is all about promoting yourself in your career. Consider this your career as a leverage blueprint. Your job is your greatest investor. In this masterclass, you'll learn how to position yourself for a promotion, how to expand your visibility, and how to take full control of your career trajectory. So your 9 to 5 can fund your dreams and not just your frustrations. Click right up here to watch this masterclass. Thank you so much for joining me in this masterclass today, and I will see you in my next video or masterclass.